Hello, my name is Marielle. Welcome back to another one of my movie reviews. Okay, so I know that I'm 3 months late in reviewing this film, but I could not ignore Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Despite it being a terrible film, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is laughably bad. Join me as we try to understand this sequel to the cult 1974 classic. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 2022 Netflix film. Picking up 50 years after the events of the first film, a group of idealistic friends move to Texas. Encountering a sadistic Leatherface, nightmares ensue in a series of bloody murders. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is more hilarious than it is scary. If it was supposed to be. The 2022 sequel could have been better on so many levels. For example, a prime character returns, but they're not given the redemption arc that they deserve. The cast is split between actors who are committed to the story, have no idea how to act, or they're here for brutal murders. Sarah Yarkin, Elsie Fitcher, Jacob Lattimore, Nell Hudson, Mo Dunford, Owen Foray, Mark Burnham, and Alice Craig do their best to take this film seriously. You'd never think to see Elsie Fisher in a horror film. Arguably, Fisher and Yarkin are the best parts of the film. They had a good sister dynamic. Despite how silly the film is, they took it seriously. The one part that I would omit from the film is Lila's past. It didn't make much sense, and it didn't feel right in the atmosphere of this film. I have not seen the sequels to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's about time that they brought back Sally. After being endlessly tortured in the climax of the first film, I've always been curious about what happens to Sally. Except the 2022 film executed her story all wrong. This film should have been about Sally and her path of vengeance. First, Owen Foray did an excellent job with the interpretation of the character. But she deserved better direction. At first, Sally's story was reminiscent of Laurie Strode's. That would have been a more exciting story if writers took that approach. First she was a character, and then turns into a prop. Figuratively and literally, if you want to say. Everything from the horrible, cringeworthy dialogue, story, and character decisions are hilariously stupid. For example, Leatherface breaks into a bus. Instead of running, the characters pull out their phones. Not to dial 911, but to record the event happening. The gore and gruesome kills make up for the lackluster plot. Texas Chainsaw Massacre contains nasty gore. Believe me, this is a bloody and gory film. A lot of the makeup effects and gruesome kills will make your stomach churn. It also lives up to its title. We see a Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this film. For any fans who were upset that we didn't see a bloody Texas Chainsaw murder in the first film, wait until you see the sickening murder sequence in this film. The gore, murders, and graphic violence felt like David Garcia's only main interest for this film. Makeup effects were achieved, and there were some good jump scares. If they weren't ruined by the characters' dumb reactions, they would have been better. The film also harbored references to Halloween and The Shining. Aside from gore, Garcia's use of cinematography was effective. The camera shots were excellent. The drooping sunflowers were a good use of symbolism. Despite how ridiculous it was, I still had fun watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you are going to watch this film on Netflix, just know that there's a lot of bloody violence, and you'll find yourself laughing more than being terrified. Thanks for catching my review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How did you feel about this sequel? Was it necessary or unnecessary? Continuing along with Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm going to be reviewing a film that is very underrated. Be on the lookout for my review of No Reservations. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel or to my Patreon. My name is Marielle, and this has been another one of my movie reviews.